Yes, now we are recording.
Okay.
Okay.
Almighty and ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Almighty and ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present with us as we take counsel at St. Antony's for the renewal and mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory. Guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, for the agenda tonight, this is what I have. We opened with a prayer. We'll do our Bible study, accept the minutes from last meeting, treasurer's report. Peter's going to talk about the BC commissions and the job descriptions. And then we need to talk about the opening plan, especially our ushers. And I'd like to talk a little bit about stewardship for new business. And that's all I have. Anybody else have anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to just bring up guidelines that we have, if we have them, for when outside entities want to use the church on a regular basis.
You mean like groups, like Girl Scouts or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good. That sounds good. We'll put that on the agenda. All right, then let us go to our Bible study. So here it is, and maybe someone would read that for us. Emily, would you like to read that?
I can read it.
Oh, okay, why don't you do it?
I can't find it. Sorry about that. I'm still, right now I'm just seeing one person at a time.
Okay.
So,
I can read it, Bill.
Yeah, why don't you read it, Loretta?
Okay, so Deuteronomy 26, 1-4. When you have come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance to possess, and you possess it and settle in it, you shall take some of the first of all the fruit of the ground, which you harvest from the land that the Lord your God is giving you, and you shall put it in a basket and go to the place that the Lord your God will choose as a dwelling for his name. You shall go to the priest who is in office at that time and say to him, today I declare to the Lord your God that I have come into the land that the Lord swore to our ancestors to give us. Then the priest will take the basket from your hand and set it down before the altar of the Lord your God.
Thank you. So this is Moses giving instructions to the people before they came into the promised land, that when they get there, they're supposed to have a thank offering at every harvest. Bring some of the first of the harvest and bring it to the priest in a basket. So why do you think the Israelites were commanded to bring God the first of the harvest rather than grain that was harvested later in the harvest?
I can think of two possible reasons. One, the first of the harvest is what God gives. You know, it doesn't require, it doesn't seem to require human effort or anything. It's simply a gift. Whereas grain is something that people grow and also is offering. That's one possibility. The other, of course, being that God should always get the first of everything, because without God there is nothing. So
yeah, good.
I was thinking along the lines of the first of the harvest tends to be the most tender. And honestly, it's kind of in many ways the choicest bits. And so why would you give the Lord anything less than the best?
yeah.
Good, yeah. Any other ideas?
Do you have a reason? Do you have is there a given answer for this, Bill? I'm just curious.
No. I mean, you know, you read the thing and it says, take the first fruits, and that first fruits that phrase that pops up in the New Testament too. And so, well, why the first fruits? Why not the second or the third or the fourth fruits? I mean, I was
Might have
thinking,
less, might have less motivation if you're giving second and third fruits, fourth fruits.
Mhm.
yeah,
And
that's what I
maybe you're
was
not going to
thinking.
give, maybe you're not going to give that which you should be giving if you're, I mean, it's like when we do stewardship and we talk about time, talent, and treasure. Are we giving our best time, our best talent, and our best treasure for the work of the church? Or are we giving what's left over?
Are we doing it? Has it got a top priority, or is it just something that comes down the line? Yeah. I was
Another
thinking,
thought,
yeah,
another thought is that by giving the first of our harvest or whatever we give, that reminds us from then on to think of God as we harvest everything else, by putting him first and doing it first.
yeah. I was thinking that maybe Moses commanded this so the people wouldn't forget. Oh, I'll get to it later.
Really.
Why do today what you can do tomorrow?
Right? Yeah, I would be one of the people that would forget. So do it first. That way you got it out of the way. You can go on, spend the rest of the time in the harvest in the field, and you don't have to worry about bringing it to the priest anymore. Okay, number 2. Why does it specify that the basket will be given into the hand of the priest? I mean, it says the priest will take the basket from your hand and set it down. Why do they have that little detail in there? I mean, you got to bring it to the altar, but why does it have to go into the actual hand of the priest?
So this is a question, and this shows that I don't know the answer, obviously. Don't priests of the original faith, don't they have a lot of cleansing rituals and things that they have to do before any kind of ritual or ceremony, especially if it's considered sacred? So by giving it to them, like, you're giving it to somebody who has prepared themselves for that. Like, I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that specific question, but in general, yes, the priest symbolizes purity and all that, just like you say, right?
Well, the priest is the intermediary, is he not?
Right.
So I always think about that when in the communion, when it gets to the epiclesis, because I want to know if God really reaches down, changes the water and the wine.
He zaps it just right that moment. Zap, pow.
You got it. And what it feels like for you as a priest to be standing there and doing that.
Well, that's one of the best parts of the Eucharist for me.
Yeah.
Well, and to me, I'm thinking the basket goes into the hand of the priest because we're all physical beings, and ideally that we're kind of living out the lives that God would like us in our bodies. And so the basket going into the hand is to just kind of, it was a gift from God, and to the hand, the physical embodiment of God in a human to then do the work. So just the physicality of having the basket and then being entrusted with doing the work of the church.
Yeah. There's a physical action that's happening there.
Might sound a little negative, but it's also an accounting.
That's
I
right.
know who I got it from, and I know who didn't give it to me.
Yeah. It makes it accountable. So you're not just kind of bringing it up in the direction of the altar and sort of setting it down somewhere and walking off, but you're actually, doing it to somebody, and you know that the transfer has been made because it's in the hand. So it's accountable. Yeah. It may also be just to make it so that everybody knows it's been done. It's just the hand. what does this have to do with bringing our offering plates to the altar? Peter already mentioned that a little bit.
Well, I have a question about that. Of course, I always do, but because it's important to me. You know, I was one of those people that we wrote the check, we put it in the plate. I saw the plate go up to the altar. And now right now I can't write, so I can't write any checks at all, but giving online, you know, the easy thing for me would be to arrange to have it taken from my bank account automatically, and I probably will do that, but it doesn't have the same feel as putting the money in the basket on a weekly basis as a part of my offering to God. And that was important to me. And so I'm not sure about the online giving thing. It's, I mean, I'm going to do it, but
Ritual is really important.
yeah.
Oh,
Seeing that
absolutely.
lay on the altar, I think that's really important, which, you know, having it taken out of your bank account is totally different.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, if
See,
you
and
really
I
want to, you could do both.
I prefer it the other way because I guess in my eyes, the only people who should know how much I'm giving, it's between me and whoever is receiving that money. And I don't know, I'm reminded of other readings where, you know, the person who's beating their chest and showing their, you know, piousness versus the person quietly doing it. I don't know. So I guess I'm on the other side of that fence.
Mm,
That's why we have the envelopes, so your check could be anonymous.
yeah. And it's I already forgot what I said. Never mind.
Yeah, I agree with you that there's something sacramental about bringing the check up in the plate. It's like a physical thing, and that gives it some more power than just letting your bank do it.
Well, it also, for me, when we did it and when I did it, because I haven't done it in a long time, because I do the electronic giving. I think it gives a sense of being knit together as a community. So it's not like how much did everyone give or did anyone give, but just seeing the plate going to the altar just lends a sense of connection with everyone in the church, and that we're together supporting the church and God's work.
One of the churches I went to had a little card thing that you could put in it. So when the basket went around, you could dump in this little plastic thing that said, I gave online, so that you were kind of still participating on that ritual.
We have those.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have those now too. So same idea. That way you're
Yeah.
putting something physical in. Yeah. And in the prayer book, it says that the offerings of money and other goods will be brought to the altar. So it's got a rubric that's pretty similar to this reading. You know, into the hand of the priest, put the basket in the hand of the priest, or put the offering on the altar. Very similar ideas. So very good. That's a little bit about stewardship there. Okay, let's keep going here. Accept the minutes. Would someone make a motion to accept the minutes from our last meeting?
So moved.
I second.
Okay, anybody find any trouble with the minutes? All in favor, say aye. Or
Aye.
put up your hand, I guess. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, yeah,
Here's
treasurer's.
my reaction.
Okay, good. Motion passes. Treasurer's report, Jim?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm still working on it.
Oh, okay.
Not enough time in the day anymore. It seems like it looks like we were expecting to lose money and versus how much we took in, and that was the case. Although I didn't think it was as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was about $1,262 in the red for the month, which is not great, but I was thinking it'd be more in the range of $3,000-4,000 based on dire predictions at the beginning of the year. People are still doing very good on their online donations. It's almost up to the level for the walk-in, which is kind of a segue from the conversation we were just having.
Yeah.
But definitely think we would do better with in person.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get back in person.
When's that going to be, Bill?
Who
We're going to
knows?
bring that up and discuss that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Jesse brought up a good point on that it also could to be to some extent that people can't donate as much right now. I mean, we're lucky that Jesse was able to get a job right now, but with the childcare situation, I can't till maybe the fall. And that makes a huge impact on what we can give.
Yeah.
And I don't know who all in the parish, in the church has lost their jobs or are looking at decreased hours because of COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something we have to keep in mind. And I think,
Yeah, and this,
go ahead.
well, this brings up one of the questions, and because I haven't looked, but I'm sure that the bishop is looking as to whether or not there is anything in this new COVID stimulus plan, as it was in the past, for small businesses and support and keeping them operating. You know, what did we get last year, Jim?
It basically paid our payroll for 2 months,
Mm.
about $26,000. So
And if that happens again, if that is in this bill that was just signed today, that can of course be a bonus. We don't plan on it, but if it comes in, so much the better.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't heard anything about that one way or the other, so we'll find out.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
That's a thought.
Well, thank you, Jim. Any more questions for Jim?
I should be by the weekend.
Okay, that's fine. We'll see it when you get it to us.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Next thing on the agenda. BC commissions and position descriptions. Peter, would you like to talk about that? You sent out the new document.
I did, and already received some information and changes. So what I'd like to do is to go over that and make corrections that I haven't yet made. Loretta, I did make the one change that you came up with. It's on my document that I have here, but I thought, all right, let's fix the whole thing. Everybody's seen it, I hope.
Yeah.
See if I can find it on my screen. Post disabled participant sharing.
When did you send it out, Peter, please?
It was sent out. I sent it over to Linda, and it went out to everybody Monday or Tuesday.
So Peter, you have the change that it's a D&I doing outreach?
Yes,
Okay, great, thank you.
and that's on the document that I have on my computer.
Okay,
So the other information that came in was dealing with, let me see here. I've gone off. You guys can still see me. I can't see you anymore because I'm now in my mail.
Yeah, we can see you.
I know you can.
Yeah.
Let's see, where was that? I had received because it was yesterday. A note from I know what it was. It was dealing with Emily. We don't have you listed for anything.
Don't
No,
have what?
or Esther. Maybe it was Esther.
What's that?
You don't have what?
We don't have you on a committee.
That's, yeah, I'm not on a committee, you're
No.
right.
Yes, Esther's not on a committee. And so that becomes, did you want one?
As long as I don't have to write.
No, but you have to type left-handed.
I can't drive. When I can move again, I will be happy to do absolutely anything, but I'm pretty limited in what I can do right at the moment.
Well, what we have right now is stewardship and finance. We're going to find somebody who's going to operate that. I have for outreach is Loretta and Dee. The welcoming committee is Emily. Chelsea is doing communications. Julie and Dee on faith formation and St. Anthony's youth. Now, Esther, we could use some help in that maybe.
I can do that.
Dee-
I can do that as long as I don't have to preach to the little ones. I don't have any gifts there.
Yeah, that's what I was actually about to say is that Esther, you'd talked about maybe working with me, especially because you've got more experience and wisdom with the older crowd.
Yeah.
And I've got it on the younger side. And I know Dee said that because she's going to be working in the other group, she's not going to be working with me. So,
So
Okay.
you could work
and
with,
I'm okay writing for you, Esther.
I'm sorry, say again?
I'm okay writing for you.
Oh, right. Yes.
so that's
Yeah,
faith
well, I'm-
formation.
I can do the, working on the email and the texting. I'm pretty good at those things. So,
Okay, well then, Esther, what I will do is put you in with Julie
Okay.
on faith formation.
cool.
And Julie and Dee, are you still on youth?
I think Dee was saying she's too busy.
It's just me on
All right,
the youth, and it's kind of I've got to look at it still. The description is kind of more joining the two because
so that I have them kind of together, yeah.
yeah, it's kind of joining the two. It's just that Esther will be helping me focus more on the older adults and maybe married folk. And I'm going to be trying to focus on the kiddos and the young adults or single adults.
Sure.
Yeah, the
So
youth
it's all kind of
position,
together. I got to look at, I haven't had a chance to look at it. I'll have to get that to you soon.
youth position is
Okay,
really
well, I
for
made
when we
some
have a
changes,
youth,
so,
the youth position is for when we have a youth delegate or a youth
yeah, that's,
member.
and we do have some youth.
Yeah.
As soon as we get back into the building, we do have teenagers that, I mean, I think of,
Well, and some of my
Dana.
plans may be able to get a youth in that position before then
Yeah.
via Zoom and things like that, but I got to see how those plans survive the initial stage.
Yeah.
right, and it'll be an just oversight, basically, anyway. And then, let's see, pastoral care was Chelsea and David Peterson.
No,
Parish life, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Parish life, right.
Yeah. Pastoral care was Penny. Dave Peterson's overseeing the environment. John is on new facilities. Some guy named Peter's doing the bishop's warden thing. And Penny is our people's warden, and Dee is our clerk for now. So I will send out this amended document to all of you. Look for it tonight or tomorrow.
So who is doing stewardship?
We don't have anybody yet. So, and I was thinking that we have a couple of names. Bill and I have talked about it. And we have a couple of names, the people that we can contact, see if they want to become involved in it. They've done some work in the past, but I haven't yet contacted them. So
Okay,
I'll hang off and we'll come up with that as soon as we can.
okay.
Because we're going to start planning that somewhere around June, isn't that what you said, Bill? June,
Oh, we really
July,
need to, yeah. Mhm.
so that
Peter,
we can have a really good program in the fall.
I think I had a brain skip. Where is Emily?
She's, well, on my screen, she's to my left in the middle.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. She is on the welcoming.
And
Okay.
Peter, I need to talk. I understand you were doing that in the last year, so I need to talk to you and get your wisdom on it.
Yeah, my wisdom was we didn't do anything because there was no welcoming.
Emily, I
Yeah,
have a bunch of, things to send to you. Linda gave them
Oh,
to me.
good. Thank you.
So I'll
We just
email them.
kind of disappeared out of the building
Yeah.
before anything could start. So
Yep,
it just happens that way.
yeah.
But yes, when we get back in this summer, this spring,
You know, March 22nd is when we go into phase 3, according to the gov. So in phase 3, you can have some groups and things. He didn't talk about churches, of course, but
Yeah.
there's going to be more opening up. So
There'll be more opening up.
and we're going to bring that up next. All right, any other questions? If you don't like your description, please rewrite it.
Yeah, that's right. If you,
Well, I did that once already.
Sure.
yeah, you can rewrite the description to make it fit what you'd like to do or what your particular interest is.
They are flexible documents.
Yeah.
mm,
Okay,
Okay,
that's it.
good. All right.
Excuse me, I'm gonna go back and save that document before I lose it. You still see me, but I don't see you.
Okay, now let's see here. I need to bring up reopening plan. Let's see here. Oh, I'm looking for it. Hold on. I'm finding it. There we are. Okay. We don't know when we're going to open up. It depends, on the cases in Kitsap County. Right now, I think it's around 62 cases per 100,000, which has come down from about over 200. And under 25 is pretty safe. So we still have some ways to go. We are allowed to open up at 25% capacity. So that gives us, quite a few people, actually. We can get the whole first service wouldn't meet that. So that the first service could meet. And the second service, I think it's about 40 people. So that would be probably no problem for us. So,
One fourth of 244 is about 60.
so
Is there a specific number that supposedly the sanctuary will hold? How many people?
yeah,
244,
244.
What, 200?
244.
244. So 25% of that's pretty good.
Yeah.
61 of them.
60 people.
And we've got enough space to really space out the chairs, and Deacon Bill has already done that. So I think he's got about 40, 45 chairs in there right now. And they're well spaced. Some are 2s together, some are 3 together. And of course, we could adjust according to the people who came in.
Mhm.
And I imagine that we won't have everybody come right away. Probably some people will still be reluctant to come. So it'll probably take a little while before we ramp up.
Yeah.
I think soon we should have a number of our older parishioners with the 2 vaccines, which will be really nice in terms of
Yeah.
the safety.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think some of our parishioners have already got both doses, and quite a few have got
Yeah.
one, or they're scheduled. So I think by, mid-April, probably most of our older parishioners will have been vaccinated.
Well, and then President Biden in his speech tonight called for May 1st to be the target for every state to open it, not to have everybody vaccinated, but to open it to anybody 18 and older.
Oh, to open the
So-
vaccinations.
Open up the vaccinations to
Right.
everybody 18 and older. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
they'll all be scheduled in yet or shot. If we have that available, then that helps a great deal.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really
and they've
does.
really talking about blanketing the country with, using the military. They're sending out, what, 4,000 troops or something like that. To even veterinarians can do a vaccination, is what I read today. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the number, I think, of vaccinated people is up around 70 million now, so it's climbing quickly.
Okay, so when we open up, we've got a reopening plan. And I'm going to bring up what the ushers need to do, because one of the sticking points is going to be getting ushers and training them. So let me bring up this plan here. So the way Deacon Bill has set this up is that everyone comes in through the gathering room door, and there's an usher at the door. And that usher makes sure that each group is spaced 6 feet from the next group. So if someone is in the narthex, then that usher is going to hold the entering people back until they're out of the narthex. And if there's anybody stacking up, they have to stand outside, distance before they come in. So that's what the person in the gathering room is doing, and explaining to people and that sort of thing. And explaining the communion practices, how we're going to do that. Then the people go into the narthex, and the second usher is there, telling them again to maintain the 6 feet distance, asking them to sign the release form that the diocese has for us, telling them to use a hand purifier and pick up a bulletin, and telling them that the offering plates are available. We're not going to pass the offering plates, but if people want to put their money into the plates on the way in, they can do that. So then hopefully we get everybody in and the ushers can come into. And then during the service, the ushers need to bring the offering plates to the altar during the doxology, and then indicate to people when they're supposed to go up. And hopefully everyone will understand how we do communion. The way we're going to do that is that you'll come up to the middle of the church, and there'll be a hand purifier there. Wash the hands, and then come forward 6 feet away from the person ahead of you, and take one of the wafers off of the altar. It'll be on a sterilized plastic strip there. Take the wafer, go off to the side, lift your mask, and eat the wafer, and then go back to your seat. So it's kind of complicated, and I'm sure we're all going to learn how we sort of do this. After a couple of weeks, it'll probably be pretty easy. At the end of the service, dismiss people starting from the back, so we can still keep the 6 foot distance, and then pick up the bulletins afterwards. That makes sense? Any questions about that?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do we need to sign a release form every time, every Sunday that we come in? Or is one good for the year?
I don't know.
The release form basically is giving us trace information,
Oh,
so
that's
that
right.
if we do have an outbreak, then we can contact the people that have been there, and then go back through to find out if we have an idea of where that viral infection came from.
Yeah, so we
that
do need,
that would be done every Sunday.
Every Sunday, yeah, that's right.
This shows up my ignorance a little. So the release form, I guess when I think of release form, I think hey, it's at your own risk, you're coming, somebody could give you COVID. But
Part of it.
once somebody signs that, what's stopping the ushers from just taking the people's names? Or like having a checklist of the people who are part of our church and just checking off each Sunday who's here, who's not. Or
Well,
is
part
it
of it
just,
has to do with the information that was given as to where they've been. So that we
okay,
can do that tracing.
got it. Got it, okay.
Okay, yeah, good.
Now, hopefully, we won't need to do a lot of this because COVID will be so under control that we won't have any problems. But, you know, it's the plan that we have in place. It's the diocese has accepted it. And if Bill Tate were here, he'd explain it a lot more clearly than I'm doing or Bill's doing.
Yeah,
So there's no coffee hour though.
No, we do
Correct.
not have a coffee hour.
Okay.
now,
Not
if
unless you
people,
Zoom home and Zoom on.
I think if people
Not
want
unless
to
we-
talk outside and keeping a 6-foot distance, they could do that.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the nice things is the CDC has given us, for those of us, like in my case, as both of us have, Sandy, David, and I are all vaccinated with both Moderna shots. We're 3 weeks out from our second shot, so we're supposedly at 95% or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And my daughter Michelle has hers. She's a teacher, and my other daughter Sarah has hers because she is working with the Head Start program with the Squamish Indians, and so we can gather in a family way, and that same principle can apply at church. It's not something we've thought about or talked about, but there are those of us who are going to be attending church who are vaccinated, and we can gather in small groups that way.
Guess
Technically,
maybe we need like a little star to put on our forehead. That says we got-
yeah, that's not the Star of David, but the Star of COVID.
Yeah, right.
I was in the bishop's Zoom meeting today, and he said he'd been asked by people, can we have a service for only vaccinated people? And he said, no, we're not going to go down that road. We're not going to have the star on our forehead. So don't even think about that as far as the service goes. But I can see, like, if our Bible study group is all vaccinated, I don't see why they couldn't come together, or a breakfast group or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, as soon as the restaurants open again, we can have Sunshine Fellowship with all the vaccinated people.
Yeah, that's right. Mhm. It's changing. It's coming.
It is.
So is the plan, once we do open up, that we'll continue to have the Facebook Live service?
Yeah.
Okay. For both services, the 8 and 10:15?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
great.
We have got it so that there's no wires, and it's not going to be obtrusive at all. There'll be a table in the back where Guy or Bill Fagan will sit, but that's about it.
Good.
Yeah. We are planning to have the sunrise service outside on Easter Day. That'll be at 6:30 in the morning, and people can gather under the pavilion, keeping a 6-foot distance. And we'll have guitars out there, and it'll be about a 30-minute service, like we've had other years, which I think will, if people get cold, at least it's only 30 minutes. So who would be willing to be an usher? We're going to have a problem getting enough ushers, I think. Some of our ushers, our normal ushers, have indicated that they're not able to be ushers, until this COVID thing is over. So I think it's a good thing for the BC to do, is to step up to this and be ushers, at least at the 10:15 service. The 8 o'clock service, we may be able to find somebody in there.
Well, I'd be willing to do it on the 10:15. I might
Okay.
need a ride to get there, but
Oh, yeah. Okay. I bet we can get you a ride.
And of course, as the BW, I'll do it
Thank you,
Yeah.
Peter.
unless
We
I'm,
should train.
unless
we
I'm
should-
in the choir. I'm just kidding. We
Well,
won't have
we-
the choir back.
Yeah, we won't be singing.
We should train the ushers. Will we do that? Those of us who are gonna, if we're gonna ush.
Yeah, we've got to make sure that the ushers know how to ush. Hi, Dave.
Absolutely.
Dave, we're talking about ushers, and you've been an usher in the past, so would you be willing to be an usher when we start up?
Yeah, as long as it's not, I think I get my second shot like on the 3rd of April. Other than that, yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So yeah, so 4th of April would be out.
Right. That's Easter day. You couldn't do it that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll help out. I certainly don't want to make a long-term commitment to doing this.
No, this,
But I'll help out. And I'm getting a second COVID shot on the 29th of March. So 2 weeks after that, I should be good to go. But yeah, so I could help out.
No,
okay,
this is temporary.
this is temporary. We're not signing you up for lifetime usher duties.
Surely more like a traffic cop.
Yeah, it is. It's a traffic
Yeah.
cop.
With
It
a
is.
smile.
Yeah, it's a welcoming job. This is a part of the welcoming committee.
Right. I was gonna say, we
Is
need to
this
put
something
little
we need
badges on
to-
them that say their name.
Is this something we need to bring up during coffee hour for some of the non-BC members to say yes or no, they want to do it? Because I know there's a decent amount in the coffee hour group that are also vaccinated.
Yeah, yeah, we could do that. I was thinking this would be a good thing for the BC to do, to show our involvement and our leadership, but it depends on the person. Not everybody feels comfortable coming.
I can't get vaccinated yet.
Yeah.
I've got at least 2 months, if not more, of breastfeeding, and
Right,
Yeah. That's a legitimate excuse, I think, Julie.
okay,
I'd volunteer, but I'm not vaccinated, so I don't know how uncomfortable you feel about that.
Mm.
you know, it'd probably be good if we had our ushers vaccinated, so let's see, we've got Loretta, Dave, Peter, and
Peter.
Esther.
Esther.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
And as for a target date, we don't know yet.
We
Just
don't-
don't know, you know, if those numbers keep going down, I think we could do it possibly Easter. I don't know, that Easter is it's coming up awfully fast.
It's 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would say more like sometime in April. Let's watch those numbers.
Yeah.
I don't know very many Episcopal churches that are opening up yet, and I'll keep my ear to the ground about that to see what other priests are deciding, because I think everyone is going to, you know, be making this decision in the next couple months. Okay, let's see. Thank you. That was good. Oops, find my agenda here. The next thing is a stewardship discussion, and I thought that we would use one of the resources that are from the TENS network. TENS is the Episcopal Network of Stewardship, for Stewardship or something like that, TENS. And they've got a lot of really great resources online. And so I pulled this one down from the TENS website. And I thought we might go over it just as a way to kind of get ourselves familiarized with stewardship. I called the bishop, or I emailed the bishop, and I invited him to come to St. Anthony's for a stewardship banquet so that he could talk to us in October. And after many emails back and forth about the date, we finally hit on October 27th. It's a Wednesday night. So if we can plan that, put that in our calendars, I think that'd be really great to have Bishop come. And he is really big on stewardship. It's one of his big things. And he's a good speaker.
October 9th.
What?
October 9th?
27th.
Did you say October? Oh, October 27th. Okay.
October 27th, okay.
Yeah, October 27th.
Okay.
There's some lag in your audio, Bill. So occasionally it's a little garbled.
Yeah, my internet at home here is not the best. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
So
One of the reasons
October
I got a
27th.
new router was because my internet was faltering.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we need to have, a good stewardship campaign this year, especially since we're so far behind with the deficit budget. One thing we might think about this year is to have a second ask. I can't remember when it was. After I've been here a few years, we were behind on our pledges. And we went to the congregation and we asked them to see if they were able to pledge more for that year. And they did. They came up with the money, and we came out even. And the next year we didn't have to ask. So we might think about that this year, sometime in the middle of the year, depending on how the budget looks. Does that sound right, Jim?
Mhm. Yep.
I would think that people's finances are going to change because, considerably with once everything opens up again.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a good idea.
I think when things open up, people will feel more secure. And maybe if they were being conservative about their pledge, they might say, well, I feel more comfortable now.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a responsible thing to do. If it looks like that down the line. Okay, so let me bring this up, and why don't we, there's 12 paragraphs, so if we could each take a paragraph, we'll just go down through them. Okay, share screen. Okay, I'm looking for it. Not finding it. Okay.
Middle at the bottom.
Oh, I find that. I just can't find the document.
Oh.
Okay, hold on. Where's that document at?
My other laptop over here, I'm on that TENS.org right now. Very interesting, very informative.
Yeah, it's a great website.
And very simply, if you want to know what it is, it's TENS.org. That's it.
Okay.
Well, for some reason, I can't get it. Why is that?
It popped up and then it went away.
Well, that wasn't the right document. I can't find the right document.
Mhm.
I had it pulled up before, so it should be there when I ask to share. Well, I don't know how to do that. I guess we're not going to do that if I can't figure it out. Sorry about that. Okay, let me see here. There it is. Okay. Hold on, still working.
You have a
Here it is. I got it now. Okay. Whew. Okay, 12 steps to successful stewardship. So these are 12 things to think about for stewardship. So why don't we just go down through them? Maybe we can just take turns reading. Peter, would you like to do number 1?
All right. Strong stewardship programs are built on vibrant relationships, our relationship with God, our church, and each other. People give when they are connected to each other, to the mission of the church, and to God. We need to nurture these relationships all year long. Don't give people the opportunity to say, my church only calls me when they want money. I've heard that one. Develop a plan to touch base with all your members several times a year. This can be by phone, cards, emails, and in person. Say thank you again and again, and especially immediately after receiving a pledge. Have a phone thank-a-thon for simply checking in with people and saying thank you. Don't ask for anything.
Yeah, good. Couple of times we have had letter writing campaigns by the BC after pledges have come in. We sent a card to everybody thanking them for the pledge. I thought that was pretty effective. Somebody want to read the next one, number 2?
I'll read it. It's about prayer, individual and collective. Write a stewardship prayer for your church. Create and distribute materials that support members' prayer lives. Set up and encourage small prayer groups online. Include families with children in these efforts.
That's a good idea, isn't it, Julie? Someone want to read number 3?
Yeah, that's, I can do that.
Yeah, okay.
Cast
Good.
a vision for the upcoming year. A year from now, where do you want to be? It should be vibrant and hopeful. Keep it short so that people can remember and repeat it. Splash it on all your materials, print and digital. Donors give to causes that engage them and make them feel that their money, time, and talents are well invested. Of course, that reminds me, military is people stop reading after the first paragraph. You know,
Keep it
first
short
thing
and sweet.
The second thing I remember is the Thanksgiving food drive that we did that one year where it was a tangible thing that people could see, could feel. And so we had a really good turnout for it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good. Someone want to read number 4?
I'll do that. You have to push it up. There we go. Design and define your program based on your unique and compelling vision, goals, and need. Add information. Donors want transparency about the finances of the church. Information builds trust. Be honest and hopeful. Include a short story about a life changed, a new program you've been able to start. Share some good news. Show donors that you are a vibrant church.
So they're just asking us to communicate what we're actually accomplishing. That's a good idea. Someone want to read number 5?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Create materials that share your vision and invite participation. These don't have to be fancy, flashy, or expensive, but they do have to be well done, visually appealing, and proofed a zillion times so there are no mistakes. Use more pictures and fewer words. Ask children to draw pictures for the materials. You're building new givers when you include children and teenagers.
I like the way they keep thinking about young families. And that's maybe something for the welcoming committee to think about too.
Yeah.
Number 6, someone read it.
I'll read that. Know your people. All donors are the same. As much as possible, divide your members, donors, and non-donors into giving groups. For most churches, this is best done by just a few people to protect privacy. For example, who makes a significant increase in pledging each year and can be asked to do so again this year? Who hasn't increased for a year or so and can be asked to increase this year? Who does not pledge but gives regularly and can be asked to continue? Who can you ask to begin giving at whatever level is possible? Always begin by thanking people for their generosity, no matter what their level of giving. Another aspect of knowing your people is that some really appreciate a personal visit at stewardship time, and others want to be left alone and will mail in their pledge card. Personal visits are preferable, but not always possible. Phone calls are the next best way to reach out.
Yeah, if you want to get people to give, you need to ask. The ask is the hard part.
Yeah, didn't Jim say something a while back about having that the pledge cards, the people were giving even if they didn't turn in pledge cards or something? I can't remember the way it went, but it was and I don't know necessarily that this was while we were in lockdown, but there was something wherein he said, you know, that we didn't get a lot of pledges, or we got X number of pledges, but we get a lot of people donating over and above that.
Correct. There's some people that refuse to turn in a pledge card, but they donate anyway.
And on a regular basis.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, we have a few people that just, they think of a pledge card as a, I don't know how they think of it, but I think some think of it as a debt, and they don't want to be in debt, and they don't want to have a, you know, something hanging over their head that they might not be able to meet. So they give, and they give cheerfully, and they give generously. They just don't want to give a pledge. And you know, I
This
need
is
to
the
respect
first
that.
year we did a pledge, but you know, this is the first year one of us has had a concrete, you know, honest to God steady job.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we view it as a promise of, hey,
Yeah.
we're promising to do this. And, you know, depending on somebody's income, or if they're in something more entrepreneurial, you know, one month they can give this much money, the next month this, and they don't want to feel like they're locked in maybe.
Right, right. That's a very important point. Not everybody has a steady income. And, you know, the pledge can be changed. It's not locked in. It's flexible. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Number 7, somebody read that, please.
I'll do it. Preach and teach generosity without ceasing. Some of this must come from the clergy. If you are clergy and uncomfortable with this, please read the bulletin point below. You can also contact me.
So that's always a hard one for clergy to, you know, talk about money, but we try. So here's a don't. Stop apologizing that the church needs money. How else can we hold worship services, offer Sunday school classes, have choir practice, open our soup kitchens, or pay our staff? Money is a tool. If the church is embarrassed and uncomfortable asking people to give, then people are going to be uncomfortable and embarrassed giving. Guess that makes sense. Would someone read 9? We may have to
Yeah.
go 2 here.
Okay, number 9, make it easy for people to pledge and give. Surveys continue to find that a large gap between the ways churchgoers prefer to give and the options for giving that churches offer. The question is no longer, should we offer e-giving, but what options should we provide? I think Jim had set that up. We used the Facebook thing, and
Yeah, we can give online, and Jim
Right
said,
there.
so we can text a pledge too, or text a payment.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oops. Number 10, put the pledge form on your website. It can be a PDF document that people can print out and return, or it can be a form that's filled out and returned online. That's a good idea. I don't think we do that right now. Would someone read 11?
And doing a PDF like that is not a difficult thing to set up for online filling out and returning.
Yeah.
can be done. Number 11, if you don't have time this fall to set up e-giving, do these two things instead. One, promote and work with members to set up recurring payments through their bank. Many people already pay their bills this way. Two, set up a group of people to start the process of e-giving in your church so that it is ready by the new year. Unfortunately, we have already taken care of this.
And number 12, say thank you and celebrate. Maybe you can have a thank you parade and drive by people's homes with smiles and a small inexpensive gift. So those are, some ideas that come out of the National Church, and you can take them or leave them, but it kind of gives you an idea of some things we could do. I would hope that we would.
Well, I was, as I said, I was on tens.org, and I would encourage all of you to go to tens.org and look it up. It also talks about membership, and I know the diocese has a membership, but also the congregation, our parish or our vicarage can have a membership to it.
Yeah, the diocese
and there are more resources to it.
The diocese has a membership, and they give out the password and name to everybody, so we can access all those resources. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, the bishop was. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
The bishop was on the board of TENS until recently, so he's been pretty involved with it.
Yeah, I noticed that 2021 membership for Diocese of Olympia is not listed yet.
Oh, well, we've got it.
So,
it was listed in 2020. Julie?
So the list that we just read, I think, especially with COVID still going on, there's a fine line between using the money as a tool and having the transparency on how we approach it. And we don't need to be embarrassed to say we need more money because we're in the red.
Yeah.
But like I can tell you from my experience and Jesse's experience, one of the reasons he was put off from going to church for so long was because it was always, I need money, I need money, I need money. But it was, I need money for a shiny new roof, not because I needed a new roof, but because I liked this design better. Or I think that we've got to be transparent in, hey, this is a need, not a want. And we need to, if we're in the red because of our needs, we need to say, hey, this is a need. But, right now it's kind of a rough time for everybody. And if we're asking for money, we kind of need to check our six to make sure that it's not just because we want something. I mean, it's okay to want stuff, but I don't know if right now is the time to be pushing too much when our needs are not being met.
Right. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. That's one reason why when we need to have money for things like the live streaming equipment, I made that a separate request and, made it clear that if people weren't able to give, that was okay. And I think people are generally okay with that. Like you say, you have to be transparent about what we need it for. Is this extra or why is this needed now?
Right.
Yeah.
The example of how generous our congregation is, when we asked for money to build a new building, we surpassed the goal that was established by our consultant by somewhere in the neighborhood of more than $100,000 past what the goal was. So you're right, Julie. When there is a need and people see it, they're generous.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I think Jim does a really good job of presenting to the congregation the finances and in a way we can understand it, which I think is excellent.
Lots of good comments about his treasurer's reports. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful that this year we'll prepare well ahead of time for our stewardship campaigns, which will culminate in the stewardship banquet, and with the kind of the headline that Bishop Rick will be coming, and that we'll have a theme so that we can have a consistent message as we go through the year. All right, I think that probably takes care of that. Thank you very much. That's a good discussion. Let's see. The next thing was Loretta. You had something about the use of the building.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask if how this has been handled when it's come up. So for the outreach meeting, there somebody who came to the meeting just asked about the quilters coming to use the church once a month. And yeah, so I just wasn't sure how to handle that. So I think part of outreach could be just welcoming outside groups to use our physical space to be welcoming to the community, to kind of put our name out there in terms of we're kind of an alive, vibrant church. And
Okay.
so I'm not sure, has this happened before, or just how is it handled whenever it's come up before?
Yeah, I was looking at that recently. When an outside group wants to use our facility and they're a nonprofit, then they need to show their certificate of insurance. If they are a ministry of our church, they don't have to do that. So if one of our members is a part of their group, or if they're connected to us in that way, then it's considered a ministry of our church, and they don't have to have the certificate of insurance.
Wouldn't it also depend on exactly what the nonprofit is doing? In some sense, like we're opening up our church, but we also have to, say, okay, if you're quilting, like, is this for wounded warriors, or is this, like, what are you doing with it? Like, are you just quilting to come together, or I don't know, maybe I'm looking too far into that.
Well, there's some income to be made if we have a group that wants that we can ask to pay. So, like if the Bremerton Symphony Chorale practices there, I would expect them to pay at least something. The Kitsap Mycological Society asked about meeting in our church, and they pay something. So there is potential income there.
Okay.
And we have guidelines that we've established in previous years, and entire document that we have for building use and contracts and such.
Okay.
So where are those documents?
Let me see if I can send them to everybody. I think
Okay.
I think I've got those. Yeah.
Two of the there are two buildings that used to house AA meetings, and both of those buildings are being sold. One of them is in Paulsbo. The other is the Blue House up on Buckland Way. Both of them are disasters that need to be torn down anyway, but that means that there's a whole bunch of AA groups that are going to be looking for places to meet, and they do pay.
Yeah. And
If only that meant Atheists Anonymous.
Well, St. Anthony's would be a great place for them to meet.
It would.
well, I mean,
And they've met at St. Paul's, so,
Well, I think most of the AA people that have been around here for any space know the basements of all of the churches.
Yeah, probably.
They never get up to the sanctuary, but they know the basements.
that's what I was gonna say is a lot of people who I know who've either gone or are going to AA groups, one of the things that helps them is faith. And everybody needs a little Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah, so an outside group wanting to use the church, so would that fall under outreach?
I would think so.
My question is, how do we be sure that the church is locked, is opened and then locked when they leave?
Mm.
Are we going to have, people to do that or what?
well, that's a question, usually like when the Bremerton Symphony uses a church, they have a key and they're expected to lock up.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can't be there every single time,
no.
The
Unless
threshold
you,
singer,
unless you come back, Bill, and join the church, the chorale again.
Yeah, well, if one of us is,
And actually, if that happens, because it's been proposed, and Leanne Campos is going to come up at the end of the month and explore our building
great.
for returning the rehearsals in the fall as a group instead of being zoomed in as we are now. And of course, I would be part of that. So I do have a key, of course. We would make sure it was locked up. And there is a contract to fill out. So
yeah. Okay,
Okay,
I'll get the documents out that I can find, Loretta.
okay, great. And Dee and I will take a look and then figure out how we want to handle the request.
Okay, it seems to me like David Wilkinson was putting together a policy and we didn't actually get it passed. So I think that is one of the documents that we were looking at.
Okay, thank you.
All right, are there other items for the agenda before we leave? Reports, gossips, rumors, jokes, anything else?
I had a quick question. There's some people that were working on starting the garden.
Yeah,
I missed the first new website and I wasn't able to get on right away. Was there any plans? I think they figured out where it should be.
right.
We started working on that, Dave, and then, everything sort of shut down. And
Okay.
I
Yeah, but-
haven't had a lot of energy to follow up with some of this stuff because I keep breaking. And so it's very careless.
there's a whole
Got
TV
a
show
warranty
about
on
that,
that.
Breaking Bad. No, Bill and I did discuss that last week or earlier this week about getting fence posts in and
Oh, cool.
getting ground work done. And first thing that came to my mind is, does anybody have a rototiller?
Yeah,
So
Yeah, somebody does, I'm sure.
but we're talking about raised beds.
He's got a raised bed.
I'd like to, get that going in April because we need to plant by Mother's Day.
There you
I
go.
Yeah.
so we do a garden every year and we like to vary our plants, but so we always end up with more seeds than we can use. So I can make sure when it comes time for planting, some seeds head over to the church.
Good,
That'd be
Good.
good. Thank you.
So is there a core group? Is there a identified core group who's going to be running this garden?
Not that I'm aware at this point.
Because I'm just hesitant to start something unless there's an identified group of people who have the energy and commitment to do it.
And we talked about sort of checking about and trying to find out where people were on that. And I'm not sure whatever happened to that. So
Yeah.
as I told Bill, I think, and the other people, organization is not my long suit. So I was hoping that maybe planting a seed would grow something in the congregation, but
Right. And it would take a person who's willing to head it up and to oversee and to get the core group together and are willing to commit because it's a lot of work.
I know.
Is there a commission that would fall under to where if we could find somebody to head it, they had somebody as part of the BC to answer to?
Well, I put out on my BC thing that we're trying to get people to invite people to get in, who are interested in the garden, to contact me, so have a list, and I may have to just call around and ask people if they're interested. I don't know, maybe
That's what I plan on doing for the faith formation group, and anything with the youth is I'm just going to start, once I identify who has kids and who doesn't, I'm just start calling people.
Yeah, good.
I think that's
Contact is the fastest way to get a yes or a no.
right.
Because if you don't contact them, it's always a no.
Right.
True.
Right.
And this be posted on the website, on the St. Anthony website?
I doubt it.
I don't think it has been, but it certainly could be.
Well, the best way to get it out is through the parish email, and we
Right.
can do that. I can help with that.
Right.
And I can help with some parts of it, but I know with the girls, we're gonna have a heck of a time even getting our own garden up. And I might be a botanist, but I am far from a master gardener. I like nature to do its stuff.
They are very willing to help. I did talk to a master gardener, but they've also been affected by the lockdown and everything else, and trying to get people who want to be master gardeners. So,
Yeah.
But you can always ask.
Yeah.
She's technically-
Okay, so we'll work on that garden core group. And if we can't get a core group, we'll have to pass this year.
You bet. And I am willing to be part of the core group. I just don't
Okay.
want
Okay,
All right.
Dave, me, Esther.
Well, I'll work on it too.
Okay,
Yeah.
Peter.
you. Good, Peter.
Okay. That's all I have. Are we ready to end?
Yeah, maybe pray us
Yeah.
out.
All right. Well, let's say a prayer.
Mhm.
Loving God, thank you for your church. Thank you for our church family and all those that are part of our family and that we love so much. And help us in all our separation to not forget about our church, but to come back together when we reopen. And we pray that we'll be able to reopen soon, and that you will guide us to do that in the right way. And we ask that you bless each member of St. Anthony's family. Through Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Julie, Julie, can you send me your email? I'm at esthernosborne@gmail.com.
That's another thing we need to think about, is maybe a new parish directory.
I think that would be wonderful.
Linda's working on it right now.
Oh, good.
She'll have it out pretty soon.
All
Oh,
right.
excellent.
Yeah, I have the old, I couldn't find you in it, Julie, so.
Yeah. And even the new one, I got to get to Linda to put Marie's birthday in there. I'm trying to find you. You're under Osborne, you said?
Oh, I might be under Christensen.
Christian.
Yeah, see, Chris is my spouse, and that would be,
There we go. I see you.
yeah.
I'm going to star you. So I have your
Okay.
email.
Good night, everyone.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Good night.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Just-
everybody.
Bye.
All righty, thanks.